Hello fellow kin, and welcome to the continuation of a learning module we started last year, focused on service reporting. Last year we talked about the various tools available to you to make your reporting easier, including using Microsoft Excel templates. I'll provide you a link to last year's learning module in the comments section of this video, but just to recap, there are tools available to you in the resource library of Kin Canada's website that include Microsoft Excel templates, as well as Microsoft Word documents that you can start using right away for your reporting efforts. I'll also be sharing with you a variation of the Microsoft Excel template that one of our clubs in District 4 has used. For those who really want to push the technology envelope, there's tools such as Track It Forward that provide online tooling as well as a mobile app that can make your reporting even easier. So let's just jump right in and look at some of these tools and how to find them and how to use them. On National's website, under Member Center, Service, Service Resources, this should be a page that you're already familiar with because it provides you a lot of really valuable resources and information around service and service projects. If I scroll down, you'll see a folder called Reporting. If I open up that folder, you'll see 3 files there, 2 Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, and a Word document. Now we're all required to submit our final service hours and dollars raised to National by June 30th. The preferred method is to do it online through the members access area. However, if you prefer to submit it manually, you can use this Word document as a template to print out, fill out, and then send it into National. But remember, you have to do this by June 30th. The 2 Excel spreadsheets are examples that are used for tracking service hours. Now they're almost identical, so we're just going to look at one. I've already downloaded it, and let me just open it up here. And you can see a very simple way in which to track service hours. Now there are 2 tabs here showing you 2 different ways of tracking. The first tab shows you how to track service hours by project, by volunteer, in more of a vertical fashion. Whereas the second tab, which was something created by the Connect Club of Collington, shows you how to track by project, by volunteer, more horizontally. So let's have a look to see how easy it is to use these 2 tabs, or these 2 different methods. So the first thing I might want to do, just because make it a little bit more relevant, is to change that tab name. These are all standard Microsoft Excel kind of activities you could do or actions you can do. So I'm going to rename it to our Kin year of 2017-2018. Now you can see here that we have 4 projects and we have the same volunteers. These could be our members within our club, have volunteered for each of the projects. So let's take a look at the backpack drive. So the backpack drive project, let's say it raised $500. So we just change that there. And we have 4 volunteers. Helen is one of them. And Helen, let's change Helen's number of hours contributed from 2 to 15. You'll notice once we did that, it changed its final total. That's because it's using a formula to add up all the hours within that column, which makes it really easy. If I want to add in a new volunteer, I can simply insert a row, put in a name, put in the number of hours. We just might have to make sure that we adjust our formula, especially if we add in a volunteer at the end or a new project, let's say. Same thing with the funds raised. You can see that it's also a formula, right? So as long as we keep track of the hours and the dollars raised, this is all we have to report in at the end of the year. The number of projects, in this case here 4, 201 hours and $4,000 raised. That's simple. It's really, really easy. So the other example looks at it more vertically, or pardon me, horizontally. So this was provided again by the Connect Club of Collington, or Collingwood. They did it. And you'll notice here that they have their projects more laid out horizontally. And they even have the date of when the project ran, who the chair was for that project, and then who the volunteers were. This could be a list of our entire club. So you could just add in as many volunteers as you want here, members as you want. But now as I add in, let's go in and change. Let's say this is Rick, this is me, and I'm chairing this kin camp scavenger hunt. And my small committee of Debbie has put in 5 hours so far, and Katie has put in 4, and Kim has also put in 5 hours. You'll notice as I'm adding in those hours, it's keeping track of the total hours by project, as well as it's keeping track of the total hours by volunteer. So you can see Debbie's done 10 hours, Katie's done 9 hours, and Katie and Kim has done 10 hours for all the projects they participated in. Now, if this was raising money, I could put in, again, some money that's being raised and who it's being raised for. Maybe we say it's for the Boys and Girls Club. All right, so it's just that simple. We keep track of this. Remember, there's a lot of formulas here. So there's a formula to add up the number of hours. And that's really it. At the end of it all, we would just total up all these hours here. And we can just total up those hours by copying this formula, let's say. So we got 49 hours total. And if I want to total up the number of dollars, I copy that formula as well. So $1,500. So there's all I'd have to report on our annual report back to National. 49 hours and $1,500. So that's really simple, and that's available off of our Member Center today that you could download. I'm going to now show you what one of our clubs have done within District 4. Okay, the next example I'm going to share with you is a spreadsheet that is used by Tom Simpson, the Vice President of the Medicine Hat Kinsmen, for tracking their service hours. Tom attended our FLC and heard me talk about the importance of tracking service hours and staying on top of it, and also using it as a tool to help educate and motivate their members. And Tom really took that to heart, and he created this, and he's been blown away by the reception it's gotten from the members within the club. And so I thought I would share that with you as well. I'll also make this available to you off of our district website as a downloadable file, or you can just contact me directly at servicedirector@d4kin.ca, and I'll gladly send you a copy of this spreadsheet. So in this, you'll see what Tom has done is he's got, in this case here, 4 tabs. The first tab is a summary tab, which is a quick glance that you can look at that'll show all the members in the club, the volunteers, the total hours that they've volunteered to date on all their projects, and a total by project, as you can see here in these different columns. Now, totaling up in line 47, you'll see here, using formulas, totaling up the number of hours that the club has worked, and the number of hours the club has worked by project. National typically uses an hourly rate to calculate the dollar value of the service hours we do on behalf of the citizens of Canada. Annually, they use a $20 per hour, I believe it is still, rate. So we just put in that dollar amount or here, and calculating the $25,000 worth of labor have been put in by the club. And again, these numbers are just made up numbers, and they don't reflect what's actually happening within the club necessarily. Also too, you'll see here, this is the revenue. So some of these projects end up creating or generating some donations or some revenue, whether it be through ticket sales or bar sales or anything like that. And that also is usually targeted towards a particular service project, whether it be a local charity or something like STARS or CF. And so you could see then for them, the total is value of the labor is $25,000, and the total revenue that they've got thus far is $187. And this again is done by a formula, and these values here are taken directly out of the other tabs. So if I click on any of the other tabs, you have one tab per project, and you'll notice that what they do here, the format is basically the same from project to project. You got whoever's chairing the project. The total of hours for that particular volunteer is always in the first column. Volunteer's name is always in the second column. And then the columns from C onwards are variable depending on the project. Sometimes it might be particular activities or tasks within the project, or perhaps a meeting date within the project. You could have whatever you want here. And you'll notice that it totals up by activity across, like vertically, using a sum function. And also then it totals up both vertically and horizontally by the total number of hours for that particular project. Again, applying the hourly rate gives you the dollar value by labor, and then any revenue that is being raised as a result of this project. And they do the same thing for casino. You'll notice that in this case here, casino, it's done by just 2 days, and any required work for planning and organizing, such as submitting the casino licenses, etc., or organizing the volunteers. Car Ward's another similar one where they have shifts that they work here. So, and again, all these now, you'll notice here, all these amounts roll up into here. And so if I take a look at the amount here, so for Greg Anderson, for instance, right, is it's from HL34A5. And so how that was done is, let's just show you an example. So if I want to pull the value from that tab, I just put an equal sign in here, click on that tab, and then put in Greg Anderson, right, and just hit enter. And there it comes. Now, once I have it there, assuming that all my list of volunteers, my members, is exactly the same, I can just, you see that little dot there in the corner? I can just grab that, drag it down, and it'll automatically update, right, for the appropriate volunteer. So it's just that simple. Just really easy, okay? So let's go in now and create a new one, just to show you how easy it is. And hopefully I'm not going to lose anybody here, but I know that you're going to want to obviously modify this, use it as the template, and then expand it. You could easily expand it if you do 3 projects by changing the names of these, obviously changing the name of your volunteer hours or your volunteers, and then changing the names of these tabs and also these columns here, right? that you can do without much effort at all. But let's go in and create a new one, okay? And so follow along here. So I'm going to select one of these tabs. I'm going to right mouse click here. I'm going to say move or copy. I'm going to copy it to the end. All right, so there it goes. I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to call it sample. Okay, so there we go. Now, what I'll do is I'm not going to change all those columns to begin with. But what I'm going to do, because I mean that's easy, you guys can do that yourselves. I'm just going to clear the contents of all those columns. So now you'll notice everything is all zeros. And the revenue here, let's say the revenue is going to be $5,000 for this project. Okay. All right. So now let's put in a few hours that people have worked, just randomly here. Okay, or they have volunteered. Okay, so there we go. So now we have a total hours here. 7, there we go. So total hours of 35 at $20 an hour, $700, right? Okay, so now how do we take this and bring it up into a summary? Okay, so here's where you follow along. So let's go to the next column. Let's put in the name of the project. Sample. All right, and now doing exactly what I did earlier, I'm going to put an equal sign, and now I'll click on the tab sample, and I'll put in Greg Anderson, hit enter. He's done no hours for this particular project, but as I select that little dot and I hold down the left mouse button and just drag it down, right? And grab it again, drag it down. You'll see that it all adds up. Now, if I click on, if I want to just grab this formula, click on it, or just click in this cell and say sum. It'll automatically sum it up for me. And this is just the dollar amount. If I just copy this, paste it over here, and then copy this. So I can just do right mouse copy, right mouse paste. Okay, there we go. And this dollar amount over here, again, equal sign, go over to sample, scroll down to that revenue line right there, and enter. There we go. So now I'm going to show you a neat little trick. If I want to make this look exactly like the rest of these, so I just select that whole column that I want to make it look like. And then up here in the Excel, there's something called a format. So if I just click on format and then drop it onto that column. There we go. Isn't that cool? All right. So there we go. It's all done. And it's just easy if I want to add on another project just like that. Okay, so I'm going to make this this spreadsheet available to you off the D4Kin website. I'll work with our webmaster to make that available, and then feel free to use it, or like I say, you could also email me to at servicedirector@d4kin.ca. Right, excellent. So that's it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact your service director. They'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Have yourself a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.